This video is sniping positions for Frontline. There's going to be some really good sniping positions in this video. I really advise you to watch the whole video. Okay, so first of all, this is in a random order. This is objective 2, and look at where I am on the minimap. I'm located along the river, and you can hit objective 2, and there's actually some hull down positions. I think it's right over here. There's a building that has some windows through it, and you can park here and shoot at objective 2. I've only fired from here a few times, so I haven't really explored everything yet, but it definitely does work. You can do some damage. I probably hit twice, and you can see I got spotting damage on the Tiger 2, and there's a T-44 somewhere. There's another position which is across the river. Look on the mini-map, where I'm pointing on the mini-map, which is up on between the buildings. You have to climb the hill and go between the buildings, and you can shoot across and hit objective 2, which I discussed in earlier videos. So here's another view. These buildings are round, so like I said, this might be the position I was telling you. This is where I died, where you can snipe through here if you want a little bit of protection. So what I have to do in the future is remember to come to this location. This is a sniping position. What's going on here is that I'm on the defending team, and we've got this Pershing over here, and he's an Unicum, so he's taking the safe route, going up the side over here to get to E. So I was probably waiting out over here. I came around, drove over here, and I'm shooting at him in the back while the IS-3A is shooting at him in the front. So he really has no idea what to do, and what he had to do was retreat. Basically, the reason why this is important is because a lot of tanks like to go in this direction, especially if they're new players or Unicum. I like to play a high-risk game, so I take the challenging route. Or players with a very slow tank might go this way, or maybe people that haven't played before. This is a really cool position. Look at the time. It says 8:29. Look at how much damage I did and how much spotting I did. This is the enemy CAPDEF. They were going to the repair facility. I thought, you know what, I'm going to park right here, right next to the what used to be the red line, and I'm going to hit these tanks over here at the repair facility. I would say it was difficult. It was not easy to hit the tanks at the repair facility. What ended up happening is the enemy team lined up on this hill over here, and they just sat there. A long time went by. And you see there's a 53 TP and a T69. And what happened was my allies started to take up positions alongside me, and we really held them off for a long time. So here's another view where you can see this is where the enemy tanks are going to come up. And of course, over here, you can see that there's more tanks. Now we got a Primo Victoria. And look at how much time has passed. Like 2 minutes have passed, and I went up 1,200 in spotting damage and 300 in damage and 1,000 in block damage. And I went from captain to major, almost the entire level. Okay, so here we have the enemy capped E. And I came to check out this position. It's a horrible position. However, you need to know this position. I will explain to you why. When the enemy caps E, they're going to start to proceed to the repair facility. Most of them are going to go around this way to the repair facility. Some of them will be spotted, such as this AMX CDC. They will repair, and they will usually head to Bridge 3. The ones that are fast might go through the rails to Objective 2. Or that's usually the two common things that happen. So what I recommend you do is you come to this location, hit this AMX CDC, reposition to another location where you can shoot through these gaps, and then hit the CDC again, and then reposition along the rails and hit the CDC again when he gets to the repair facility. So you can probably reposition 2 or 3 times and keep on hitting those tanks. It might be a little difficult to get around, but if you can get over the rails to where the Progetto 46 is, you can once again hit the tanks as they're trying to cross this bridge over the river into the city. So this is a multi-position sniping tactic. So one of the ideas I had for objective 5 is to be close to objective 5. And the reason why, if you watch my videos, you know I like to play in the middle of the map. Playing in the middle of the map means I can hit the allies whether they come on the east or the west. What I recommended before is to play where this M4190 is, because it's between 4 and 5, so wherever help is needed, you can easily reposition to 4 or 5. But the problem is people don't go directly to 4 and they don't go directly to 5. They go in between, so that would be a good position if you have strong armor. This is a good position because you can hit the tanks that are crossing this gap and you can hit the tanks that are coming over here. Unfortunately, you do not have a lot of time. If they quickly move through this gap, once they're across, that's it. There's a lot of positions, there's a lot of bushes. You can hide behind this objective, and over to the left there's a rock. So this is obviously just another view. This must be one of the tanks off in the distance. It looks like a Lancey, and it looks like I damaged him. And perhaps a Progetto 46. This is another shot on the Lancey. So there is a bush that I am shooting through. Okay, so here we have a position. I talked about a position where you come over here on the west side. The enemy tanks go this way. But this is a position where you can hit some tanks as they're coming to the repair facility, which is at the edge of your spotting range. Once you get spotted, there's not a lot of spotting position over here because these bushes are not intended for the defending team. But what's good about this position is after you get your ambushing in, you just roll down the hill and head north. Here's another view to show you how you have very little space. You can go down this hill. The position I was in is over here where this bush is, and I moved a little bit forward, and you can see that I can hit the tanks that are coming down from the east ridge on Cap A, such as this 53 TP. So it is a flexible position. This tree is a position where you can knock the tree down. It's going to be the same thing. You can shoot at some tanks over here. It is difficult. It's not easy. You're not going to get amazing shots. But what's good about it is if you get spotted, you just roll down the hill. You can see that this is the hill you roll down. You go under the bridge, and you're pretty much safe. You've got a lot of options, and you can climb back up if you want to. Like I said, I don't know if you're going to have good shots over here. I might have played it once. And I seem to recall I got spotted very quickly. As you know, the enemy advances quickly on Cap F. This is one of the best positions in the game that you're looking at. You really want to learn this position. From this bridge, I've tested over here where this tree is and these rocks and these bushes. That's a good position. I've tested the bridge. I've tested over here where this marsh area is, and I've tested somewhere near the soccer field, maybe behind, I'm not sure, which is probably in my first video. The reason why this is a very overpowered position, if you position yourself right, you can hit all the enemy tanks that are heading north on Cap F without being spotted, and you can hit enemy tanks over here on Cap E, which I'm going to show you later in this video. So you can cover two different flanks. If you see that the enemy is advancing on Cap E and F, this is a very powerful position. Or if they're going on Cap F. Likewise, if you're assaulting and you want to hit the defenders over here, this is another very overpowered position. This is an example from the soccer field. You can get a little bit hull down over here, hit these tanks as they're coming around, and then hide. Like I said, they're all out in the open. Here's another view. You can see that we have another hull down position, which is right over here. We've got these bushes over here. If you play these bushes and you're not careful, you will get spotted. My issue was that I got spotted from a tank that was off to the right. He was over on the other side. It was a Progetto, which we might see later in this video. This is objective 1. This is like the first sniping position you should learn in the game, especially if you have a fast tank. I haven't played it in a long time. The only reason why I came here is because I like to play where these tanks are in these 3 buildings, but they're defending it. So I decided to come out to this position instead. You can see you got clear shots. However, you will be spotted very easily. It looks like someone shot at me, which is why there's damage on the ground here. Here's an issue where the Carnarvon came around and there's only 1:33 left in the game. We need, let's say, 4 to 6 more hits on turret 3. And if you've got a 7-second reload, that means you've got like 40 seconds to a minute to kill objective 3. For one tank, on average, it takes 2 minutes to kill an objective all by yourself. But the Carnarvon didn't do that. He's shooting at this Chrysler K. He does have good shots on it. My team does have a lot of shots on objective 3. I don't remember what happened in the game, but I think what happened was it was a really close call, and at the last minute we won. But I'm just showing that from here you can hit objective 3. And as I spoke at the beginning of the game, from this position, if you climb up a little bit higher, halfway up, where these buildings are and these trees, you can hit objective 2. So if you kill objective 3, you only got to come down to here and you can shoot at objective 2. Here's a position on the bridge. You got pretty good coverage of people advancing over here. I really like this position. Here's an example where all I did was pivot. If you look on the minimap, there's an LT-432. He's right behind these buildings. He came around to flank the Emil while the Emil was reloading. I hit the LT-432. You can see it here in my hit log, and he ran away. So from this position, this is an example where I'm covering 2 flanks and why this is a very good position, especially if the enemy is trying to cap E and F. We're going to see more good things. That where the Emil is also a very powerful position. So from where the Emil is, he can cover cap E. He's got lots of open shots if the enemy tries to cap E, but he can also cover the enemy that's trying to come up over here. As soon as they pass this rock, all open shots on side and rear armor. You do have to move a small amount. You have to move, look at where the camera is. You have to advance maybe 50 to 75 meters this way, and then you'll be able to hit those tanks. That's why that's also an overpowered position, and it works if you're assaulting cap E or if you're defending cap E. If you go out to where this marshy area is, if you travel between these 2 positions, you can hit either attackers or defenders on cap F or cap E. Very powerful position. So here's a shot of the bridge showing how you can see what's going on over here and you can see what's going on over here. Very powerful position. I only played it a few times because it is actually a difficult position. I have a high ping time, 242. When I drive across the bridge, it's very dangerous, and I could easily go into the water so if I have a reasonably fast tank like the Udis. So I have to be careful when I play on bridges. I don't know if I mentioned I have no internet right now. My internet's been out for a week. Apparently someone cut cable somewhere in the city, so there's a citywide outage. So this is a view where you can see this position where these bushes are. You're going to have to hit the frontal armor. You might want an UDAS. You see that somebody shot here, which means that there's a chance I was playing this position. I got spotted by a Progetto who was out here somewhere on the enemy team. But otherwise, if you play it right, you'll be okay. Remember, the enemy advances quickly. They will come around over here. And a lot of them, I'm going to have to say they're super unicum. So you're going to be shooting at them and they're going to have no clue that you're there. So they're just going to keep on advancing until you're spotted. They're not going to know you're there. Here's just another view of what you can see in the distance here, and you can guard over here. This is obviously another view to show that when the enemy travels, they will try to get around here, and this is where your defenders are going to be. And the enemy will come this far, you can still hit them. With an UDAS, it's a little difficult to maneuver, but if you have a regular tank, I think you'll be able to do a pretty good job sniping here without being spotted. This is a position where I put the enemy outside of my spotting range with an UDIS, which is a high pen tank. It's the highest pen for tier 8 other than the STRV. This is a killing machine. When you play with this tank, you're going to kill tanks. You're not going to do large amounts of damage, but you're going to kill tanks. You're going to penetrate everything. You're going to penetrate the Defender. You're going to penetrate the Mutant. You're going to penetrate the IS-3A. All the tanks down the line are going to be penetrated. You're going to see that little green even with the standard round. With the APCR, you're going to penetrate everything no matter what. So I put them outside my range. I tried different positions. You'll notice that there's also an UDIS behind me and an STRV over here. That STRV doesn't have to be there. He could play back a little bit. If you get spotted over here, they're going to kill you real fast. So be very careful. This is what I did. Was I was assaulting and I drove around the side and got behind the back, and I'm hitting this tank from behind. And he really didn't react. I just kept hitting him until he died. And I also, I don't know if okay, my ally killed the Oho, but I brought him down to 7 hit points. So look at the position. If the enemy doesn't defend this flank, just drive to the back and shoot. When I died, I repeated it. I came back again with this tank. And this time when I came, all these allies came with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tanks came from C to help over here. And you know what the funny part is? This is the sad thing about the game. They really didn't help very much. I mean, they kept me alive in the game an extra 30 seconds. I saw them kill 1 tank. But they didn't get it. They didn't get that they should quickly take up positions to hit, for example, this Emil and the other tanks that I was shooting at. This is a very powerful position. This is a high-risk position. You know, people are going to be afraid to play this position. The reason why this is because you can monitor who crosses this bridge into Objective 3. You can monitor who crosses the bridge into Objective 4. You can monitor who's leaving the resupply area headed for Objective 4 or up to Objective 5. So you've got a lot of control. If the enemy caps E and F, and there's or one or the other, and they're starting to come this way, more importantly, if they cap E, this is the gap that they cross over. I think these tanks are climbing up to Objective 3. With another view, perhaps later in the game, we're going to see, let's see if it's right here. No. We're going to see what it looks like looking down that road. There's a hull down position here, some stuff to hide behind. You are very open and vulnerable. However, you know, given time, you see that there's a hull down position right over here. We can explore this. I hope that as a community, you also try this position. You will find a position where you can easily monitor. When you're looking at this bridge, it's all wide open. It doesn't look like it's wide open. There's a little obstacle in the way, but it's pretty much wide open, and the enemy's going to be afraid to advance. Look at where this guy is on the minimap. When you see a tank in that position and you're playing where I am, you think you can't hit him, but you can. Because look at what I did. I climbed this little hill over here. If I stayed on the flat part, I would not have been able to hit him. But I knew to elevate my gun, and I would be able to shoot over the hill at the Emil. So look for this hill on cap C, which is on the right side, and use it to elevate your gun against those tanks. Now, I was telling you about this position here. This is the alternative view. This is a Tiger. You've got something to hide behind. He took forever to advance up this road because I was sitting here watching him, and I was shooting at his allies that were trying to cross over the bridge over here. Let's see if we could scan it. It looks like there might be a safe place over here. You could side scrape over here. It is an open area. Maybe if you play in this position, you'll be able to see this bridge and the view towards the Objective 3. I'm not sure. Like I said, we have to examine it. Now, this is a position that I've spoken about many times. Near the repairs facility north of Objective 4. You can just park here, snipe at these tanks. It's through the bushes. With an UDIS, you're going to penetrate everything. When you need to repair, just back up to the repair facility. Plus, you can help with the tanks that are advancing. For example, where this Lorraine 40T is, maybe I'm going to have some shots of that view. Here's a shot. Look at where I am on the mini-map. And look at how I reposition a tiny amount, and I can cover this Progetto. I did 108 damage on that Progetto. And look at where he is on the mini-map. This I did just to show you the view. Oh, I'm sorry. This is an ambush position. I knocked a tree down. Look at where I am. And the idea was I was going to ambush them, reverse, ambush them, reverse, ambush them. It didn't really work out. They have to crest this hill. So I knew that they were there, but I couldn't shoot at them. And they advance very quickly, because what will happen is a light tank will come along. Now, remember I was saying that I was playing and a Progetto 46 spot? No, that was probably not it. This was probably, okay, here's what happened. I got spotted here and I died. And the FV4202 was playing in this position on Cap E where the Emil was. And I told him, I said, hey, if you reposition, you can hit these tanks advancing over here. And he really went a lot further than I thought was necessary. However, I didn't know what his range was at the time because I could not see his range and I had not tested the ranges yet. I think you have to be in these marshes to self-spot everything. I don't remember. And like I said, that's why you got to be halfway on the bridge or in these marshes, and I think you got clear spotting of everything. So he was sniping at this Progetto, and he repositioned from here in order to do that. So this is a very overpowered position that you want to learn. This is an underused position. I've played it a few times. I probably played it 2 years ago in the sandbox and gave it up. Basically, you are on the defending team. You come down here, you shoot at these tanks like the T-44-100. A lot of the tanks are just going to keep on going. You're going to hit slow, heavy tanks. You're going to soften them up on their way to B. And if you go up here to what's now the white line, you'll be able to spot the SPG. However, at some point, they're going to spot you. This is me sniping at Objective 4. Look at where I am on the mini-map. Whenever you see an STRV sitting distant from an objective for no reason, and it's within a certain sniping range, it's a possibility that that tank is sniping at it. This happens to be an ISM. What happened was I saw an STRV in the position that I'm in right now. I was on the defending team. And when I saw that, I said, he must know a sniping position. So the next time I had a chance, I went to the exact same position and I found it. Unfortunately, I cannot penetrate. I did not bring APCR rounds because I don't think it's necessary with the game. I only bring APCR with a tank that I use dedicated for sniping at objectives, like a Scorpion G or an Udis. And I only bring it if we need it to win the game. Like if there's a minute left in the game and we need a couple shots, I'll do it. If there's 10 minutes in the game, I'll take the crappy tank with the regular rounds. So it is possible. If you have a high pen gun, I saw somebody do it with a Panther 2, which we might see in this game, in this video. Here I am. This is what the position looks like. You can see that there's a building here, some things you got to knock down. You can go over the platform and hit Objective 4. You do have to be positioned in the perfect area. This is the position that I showed earlier where we had the bridge and we had the bushes. There's a tree and some rocks. And I told you that if the enemy advances over here, you really got to be positioned perfectly. And I got spotted by a Progetto who was out here. Now look at the yellow circle and look at the white circle. Notice I can snipe from here anybody that tries to come over here and snipe Cap E, whether assaulting or defending. Anybody that tries to sneak up over here, I can cover. I saw a tank where I'm pointing on the mini-map. I don't know what he was doing there. Maybe he had an ability to snipe Cap E from here. I really don't know. But it was really unusual that he was sitting here, and I think he might know something that we don't know. We have to investigate this position. But from here, you'll be able to cover anybody that comes up over here, which is very rare, people that are coming up through here, etc. This is a view from the bridge. That's what it looks like. And it's for an UDIS, or for any tank, it's a hull down position. I should have done a side view, but you can see I got as close to the hill slope as possible to show that I could hit that low from back here and be hull down. I tried being at the front of the bridge, and I did not like that position. I tried this one, and it works. Here's another example. You can see that I did kill the low. This is a view from Objective 5. We spoke earlier about how I'm looking for positions near Objective 5. There's a ridge over here with a bunch of bushes and a rock. We might see a Yag Tiger playing from one of those positions. But I just wanted to show you've got a good view over here of what's going on. So if you're in the right position, you got a lot of shots at tanks that are crossing over here and at the tanks that are advancing on the east side. So you're covering two flanks. Here's another view. So I did one video where I was parked over here. You could play over here also, shooting through this. You might not be able to spot. You can stop the tanks, the light tanks that try to come over here, and you can cover this middle field. This is where you can also position behind this rock and these bushes. And I don't know if you have shots on this area or not. We're going to have to investigate, but I've seen a tank play this position, and of course you can cover the tanks that come around here and use the house for defense, and you can shoot at the tanks that come up over here. Here's the example with the Yag Tiger near the rock. Here's Objective 5. He might be able to hit across here. We don't know. We do know that he's inspired, and he takes damage. Okay, look at where I am on the minimap. If you're on Cap F and you're defending and you got nothing to do because the enemy refuses to advance, but they Cap E, you can come to this position. Let's see if we find the position. This is the position, which is the bushes with the tree and the rock that we described before. And you can hit anybody that crosses any of those bridges going into town. And you can spot over one of the bridges and snipe over the second bridge. So remember that when you're playing, keep an eye on your back. You can cover over here where the EML and the LT-432 was and those bridges. Very powerful position. I've played this position. Here it is where we cover the EML. This is the same position. You might want to knock the tree down. I've played this position 5 or 6 times. And here's another example. That's the Progetto that spotted me. If he hadn't spotted me, I would have been nailing these tanks over here without being spotted. This is the position where the EML and the LT-432 was. Over here, you can hit some tanks that come across here, which is rare. If 10 tanks are heading north, maybe 1 will come across. You can cover Cap E, and you can cover. Okay, look at the circle on the minimap. When the enemy advances up over here, you can shoot them. And if the enemy is defending, oh, I'm sorry. I mentioned that when you're here, you have to go 75 meters. The yellow line, the rail bends down. The road goes over the bridge. So it's outside of your sniping range. You have to reposition 75 meters in order to snipe at the tanks that come around here. And if you want to hit the ones that are on this hill, you got to go further north. So this is a very powerful position. You want to watch your back. This is on the bridge. You can see that I'm on the attacking team. Before I was on the defending team. Now I switch to the attacking team. And look at the shots I have on those tanks. I can hit them on the side armor. And that's a close-up view of those tanks that I'm shooting at. I seem to recall that because of them becoming unspotted and spotted and issues with that. I didn't have an amazing game, but obviously the targets were there to be shot at. And it is going to help your team. All those tanks are retreating because of me. I probably hit them, which caused them to retreat. They were up higher, and they retreated while my team started coming around the corner, and then they had to turn their tanks around. This is Objective 5. This is an UDIS high pen. This is, it looks like I ran out of the regular rounds. What I do is I use the regular rounds at the start of the game with the presumption that if I have a really good game, it switches to the APCR rounds so that I can have a really better game. Because maybe if I have a really good game, I might be 1 versus 5, or I might have to go up against the higher tier tanks who survived, or that Type 4 heavy. So that's why I do it. So because when I was first starting to play, you have to learn to switch rounds per tank. This allowed me to do it without knowing to have to switch rounds. Obviously, I correctly switch rounds. You can watch my games. You see me correctly switching rounds all the time, except for that one shot on that Foch where I think I hit the wrong button. So that's one of the tricks that I use. It allows you to penetrate. You want to be at the plate of armor that's closest to you. You don't want to hit here in the back. You want to hit here on the left. You cannot penetrate this side. You want to hit over here where the 10 is. I have a video where I show this to be true, where it's green over here, and if I move it a little bit to the right, it turns yellow. It's one of the things, you know, there's a lot of Unicum players. I've never heard anybody talk about this aspect of the game before, but it's a fact of the game. You hit the plate where it's closest to you. So if you were aiming for this upper plate, you don't want to hit at this far corner. You'd want to shoot at this near corner where the rivet is. If you're shooting at this plate, you're going to shoot probably at this point in the front. And if you're shooting at this plate, you're probably going to hit right here in the middle. If you're shooting at this plate, you don't want to shoot for the back. You want to hit here in the front. Gives you the best penetration angle. If you draw the triangles on a piece of paper, you'll see what I mean. It gives you the best penetration angle. So here is the position. That's what it looks like. You're not going to get spotted over here. Unless the enemy is really aggressive, you can go here and take shots. And you can do it from the left of the house. I just have a habit of playing along the red line. If you listen to people talk about 3 marking tanks, they will tell you play along the red line is a basic strategy that will help you 3 mark tanks. The same is true anytime you don't want to be spotted. You play along the red line. We should review the position near this house. Perhaps we'll see it in this video. Remember I told you there was a Scorpion G who may have been sniping on Cap E? I saw a Scorpion G in this position. You can see him on the minimap. And I thought, why is this guy here? Unfortunately, he owned this territory. I could not investigate. And I sat here and watched to see if he got spotted or if he fired his gun or anything like that. It's possible from this position you can snipe Cap E. I'm going to guess based on my visual measurement that the sniping range is halfway through Cap E. So it might not be a perfect position, but we have to investigate this position and get back to you. This is, again, the UDIS, but last time I was higher up, more where this M4190 is. Now I'm a little bit further south. Using regular rounds, I did damage on the Objective 5. This is the house where I saw that J Panther 2. So you can snipe over here. That's what it looks like with the APCR rounds. I fired 3 regular rounds, 1 of them penetrated. Because there's only a minute left in the game, I will switch to the APCR rounds. If there were more time, if we had like 3 minutes, I would continue to use the regular rounds. This is a position where you win on the ridge on Cap C, and you just keep on coming all the way around. This is where the tanks come out. The problem with this position, once you get spotted, the enemy thinks that they can freely move up here, but over here you just pop out and hit them. Once you get spotted, they will come after you. they will come around here and shoot you in the back. I've played this position a couple times, and that's what has happened every time. Not only that, I never did a lot of damage. This is a position if you're okay with suiciding, or if you just want to be adventurous or you want to explore, which is what I do. If you're an Unicum, you probably don't want to do this because you might get your armor scratched. So here is the ambush position. There's one with the tree, but I guess this isn't it. This is just a position that I took up because remember I tried a different position and I couldn't see over the hill. And this was my strategy that we're going to hit the tanks and then run, take up a new position, hit them again and run, hit them again and run, etc. It didn't work out because the light tanks advanced too quickly. Because they don't expect you to be here. They think this is going to be wide open. So they're just going to plow through. Here I am with the WZ-111 1FT. This is a moderate penetration tank, maybe 259 or something. Objective 5 is... Oh, shit. I'm running out of disk space. Okay, so I had to make some space on my computer. This is showing a position where you can cover, you're defending objective 5, and you're going to watch tanks that cross over here or try to cross over here to try to come forward, or who are up on this hill or trying to snipe from the position where the 50 TP is. So this is where you can cover a lot of different flanks. What happened here was that I don't snipe through the rails. I've investigated it. I usually go up to here where the train is, where you have more open shots. I wanted to see if you could snipe through the rails and then reposition. I'm going to show you, this is where I reposition, and you can see I did damage to that Samua. I did 700 damage. I hit the Samua twice. Hard to see where he is in the, maybe that's him over here. But I hadn't hit him yet. By the time he got to here, I hit him twice. And everything else looks the same. So basically you can keep an eye on the tanks as they're traveling through here and then reposition over to here. And there is another position which is out here somewhere where you can also snipe at the tanks that are crossing the bridge. I don't know if it's going to be in this video. This is just a zoomed in view of what it looks like crossing the bridge. This is objective 1. I'm playing the UDIS. I'm using the APCR rounds. I don't know how many. Obviously, I damaged it at least 3 times because I probably went in with 15, 15, and 10. But you can damage it. Look at where I am on the mini-map. You can damage objective 1 from here. And because there's 24 seconds left in the game, I brought in the UDIS. I'm using the APCR rounds. I don't mind doing it if we have to win at the last second. That's what it looks like. I'm out in the open, of course. And I'm going to sneeze. Okay, so here we have, excuse me, near the repair facility. The repair facility looks funny because I used it recently. There's some bushes over here and a bridge, and I'm showing how you can hit these tanks as they're trying to breach this area, and you can watch the rail. You don't have open shots on the rail because this train is in the way. And with this type of a tank, it's difficult to reposition. However, with a maneuverable tank, you could easily watch what's going on over here, who's coming through the rails, and this gap over here. This is a really cool position. These tanks will stop. They won't try to advance anymore once they make it to that position. That's obviously be doing damage to the Carnarvon Action X. And I apparently set the T-44 on fire. He is in the town. So I repositioned. It's hard to tell exactly where I repositioned to. I repositioned to the other side of these buildings, and I shot into objective 4 through these trees, hit the T-44, set him on fire for an unbelievable 62 damage. Now here's where I talked about being in that little swamp area, and look at where, from here I can spot tanks that are going up over here. I can probably fire from here without being spotted. Just have to reverse to fire. The sniping circle is a little bit big. If you are on the attacking team, you can come to this position and you might be able to snipe the enemy that's defending from this hill. I'm not sure. It's something we'll have to investigate. So this is one of the positions you might want to check out, whether you're attacking or defending, especially if you're defending. Now here's a position on objective 4 where I am sniping at objective 4. There's a little bit of a problem here. We have a lot of allies here. So it was difficult to position and fire and all that stuff. And there's an enemy tank right on the other side of the hill. I don't know if I'm going to show it. But basically, there's an enemy tank on the other side of the hill, so I couldn't take up the position that I wanted to. But from here, you can hit objective 4. You don't have to go in there. This is just showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tanks capping. That's crazy. And we have an EBR over here who could easily hit those tanks. I don't know if he did any damage to any of them. This was, I believe what happened was the enemy team capped F, and they had a large number of tanks coming. Maybe like 15 or 20 tanks. So I said, you know what, there's going to be a huge mass of tanks coming through here, and I decided to park in this position in order to see what I could do. However, if you do play this position, you want to have a fast tank or have a plan, an exit strategy for how you're going to get out of here, or a suicide strategy. You can see I got spotted in this particular case. So here is where I was talking about the Panther 2. Look at the mini-map. He was behind the house on the other side of this rock, sniping at objective 5. I don't know anything. He must have been firing APCR rounds. I really don't know. But I saw him fire his gun. I saw objective 5 lose hit points, and I probably saw him do it twice. So with a J Panther 2, you could probably do it from this position to hit objective 5. Here I am playing at the bridge. I believe what I'm showing, we are assaulting, and I must have come from Cap E, and I'm showing how you can hit the enemy tanks that are on the slope when they're defending. They look safe, but they're not. So you should try this position, both assault and defense. Here's where I was testing the view of what it's like when they cross the bridge, checking my spotting range. So from here, look at where I am on the mini-map. You can spot the tanks crossing the bridge. You can snipe at them. Maybe we can get them on their approach. I'm not sure. I got here too late. I wasn't able to shoot at anything. Oh, you know what? I did not get here too late. I didn't get to do a lot of damage, I don't seem to recall. In this example, I did not penetrate the OHO, but you can see you've got clear shots on those tanks, and I may have even spotted the OHO. This is a sniping position that is defending Cap E. You don't have to be up here on this upper level. I like to go up here where like the Scorpion G is and the Ag Tiger is, because there's lots of trees and it's an elevated position. But if you play here, you might have some shots on the enemy while they're trying to advance when they haven't yet made it through this upper level, and where the Samoa SM is, you can help defend him too. So you got shots going this way and shots going that way, and anyone who tries to come down into Cap E. In fact, an ally also came to this position. I believe it was a Scorpion G. Here's an example of how you can shoot down and help this ally watch this position. Now this is back to this guy over here. It might be the same tank. And I'm just showing how you have a clear shot. Look on the mini-map. The Scorpion G is approaching where you can shoot through here, and you've got clear shots on tanks coming through here when they think they're safe. He's within my spotting range, but the tanks behind him are not. So this is a very interesting position. You might need a higher pen gun. This is merely an alternate view. He apparently repositioned because we were shooting at him. I don't know if it was the same tank. No, it's a different tank. So you can see there is room here for more than one tank. I did 300 damage, 400 spotting damage. This is a hill near Objective 2. I respawned right behind the hill. I drove up the hill, and I was like, you know, you got a pretty good view of Objective 2 over here. If the enemy tanks are coming in to Objective 2, this is a great position to just shoot at them. And I sat here, and that's what I did, and nobody shot back at me. I just sat here and shot at all the tanks that were coming in at Objective 2, especially the ones that were trying to get behind Objective 2. If you know this position and you watch my videos, you'll know that this building over here is a great place to hide behind. You just get behind this building and you can hit Objective 2, and you are in the safest position. There's another one which is probably to the right of this hill where you can hit Objective 2 and be down below and use the hill to block you, to defend you. This is D. When I defend D, D is surrounded by this castle structure. I go right here into the little opening, and I defend from that position. From here, you can watch where the FV 207 is. You can get anybody that tries to approach D. Anybody that comes through the middle, you can go after, especially through this area here. You're going to have more trouble with the tanks on this side, but you're going to be able to hit a lot of tanks. You got a wide swath of tanks to go after just by sitting at Cap D. And they're all coming to you. You know, I'm the type of player, I'm just saying, you know, come at me. I'm not the type of guy who says, run away from me. You know, I want them to come at me because I want to shoot at them. This is an example. I've spoken about this position before. In this area, there's lots of trees. There's lots of trees to my right. You can knock some of them down, have these buildings, and shoot at the tanks at the repair facility while your allies are shooting through the bridge. The problem with this position is every time I've played it, enemy tanks have come looking for me. So it's a short-lived position. You have to have an escape plan or be in a fast tank. When you are capping C, there's a vehicle, a truck, that you can knock down, and you can get in a hull-down position behind that truck. This is what it looks like. I do not know if this truck will block a shot. However, if it does, that's an op position. That's not a sniping position. You don't know what sniping positions are. You didn't do 10,000 damage. You did 0 damage from this position. That's what the comments are going to be. Okay, so we talked about this position before. It's a hit or miss position. You can go to the white line and shoot at the enemy as they head to this cap. They tend to go here very slowly. Because it's Cap B, a lot of people are going to go to Cap A. You can shoot into Cap A. They take their time, and I haven't done a lot of damage here, but this is your best chance that I have found at shooting into Cap B after they cap. If you try to go over here, you're going to have trouble. So you might want to learn this position and then fall back by running. The problem is I don't like to fall back this way. I prefer to fall back this way. So, take a look at this position. Here's an example where I'm hitting this T-44FL, which means he earned that tank. That's what it looks like. And here is another tank who, like I said, let's see how much time has passed. 15 seconds maybe have passed, and they're still not coming through. They still haven't come past the repair facility. So I'm shooting at that P-44. This is the position we talked about. Cap D. There's a hill over here, and I'm just showing that. Okay, here's an interesting position. You see this UDIS, it's a medium tank, and the Object 252, they drove through this gap. So you got to be on your guard. You got to be really ready. You got to be aimed, and you got to know exactly what's going to happen. And you can hit the tanks as they're passing through, going through here on their way up. And people don't know about this. So this is one of those secret sniping positions. See if you can find it. Look at where I am shooting through here from this position. It was just a coincidence that I happened to notice the tank, and he went by too fast. I didn't get a shot on him. I've talked about in my first videos where the WZ is, but now everybody knows a lot of the sniping positions. They know the easy, obvious ones. They don't know a lot of the ones that I found yet. So a lot of people do play in this position now. I found this as a secondary position. They're playing in this position. You don't want to get in their way. You don't want them to get in your way. You can come to here and get shots. It's not a perfect position, but it's something you might want to consider, especially if you got a slow tank. On Objective 5, knock the tree down. If you know the enemy is going to advance through here, you can see how far my sniping range is, and there's a lot of enemy tanks that want to advance up this way. If they get spotted, I'm going to be able to shoot at them. This was a very interesting position. I spawned, and I noticed that there were enemy tanks shooting at Objective 3 up on that area. And keep in mind, I went down the hill, but you can hit them. You can hit the tops of the tanks from this position. If you reverse, if you spawn in and stay where you are, you might have better shots. You might be able to hit more of their tanks. He kept moving back and forth, so it was really difficult to hit him. But I think you could get clearer shots, so check that out. This is Objective 2. It was probably the first position I showed you in this video. Oh, you know what? This might actually be... Okay, we flipped over back to the beginning. Those are all the positions. I hope you really enjoyed them. I thought that they were really cool. It's going to take a lot of practice to learn some of these positions. If you know of any positions that are interesting, please let me know. Also, there's a new Frontline map that's going to be coming out soon. As soon as I can, if it's going to be on a common test, I will come up with a Frontline sniping video for those positions. If you like this video, I probably have 4 or 5 other Frontline sniping position videos that cover different positions in the game. And I have around 25 sniping position videos for regular World of Tanks. In the beginning, you're going to get the good positions like the position, sniping video 1 through 10. And then after that, you're going to get the weird positions where they're a little bit harder to find, not as useful, but they're still positions that you can snipe from. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want to post what a sucky video I made, please post below.